Welcome, beautiful damsels. Some people are so busy following the crowd they never realize the crowd is lost. Have you ever met someone so enigmatic, so effortlessly different, that being around them makes you question everything you thought you knew about life? That's the effect Sigmas have. They don't just walk their own path, they build it, leaving everyone else wondering if they're even on the right road. Here's a fact to rattle your brain. Research shows that the average person makes about 35,000 decisions a day, most of them automatic, guided by societal norms or habit. Sigmas, they make fewer, but every single one is deliberate, calculated, and designed to serve their vision, not someone else's approval. And while others are obsessing over likes, trends, and who wore what to brunch, Sigmas are quietly living lives so unapologetically unique that it forces everyone around them to pause and think, what am I even doing with my life? Stick around, because what you're about to uncover about Sigmas might just have you questioning your own. Oh, and don't worry, we won't judge if you need to accidentally cancel some of your plans after this. Number 1, they turn their flaws into assets. Most people spend their lives trying to cover up their flaws, terrified of being judged or seen as imperfect. Sigmas, they take a completely different approach. Instead of hiding their weaknesses, they dive into them head first, dissecting every crack and imperfection until they understand it better than anyone else. They see their flaws not as something to be ashamed of, but as untapped potential waiting to be harnessed. Here's where it gets interesting. When Sigmas lean into their flaws, they don't just accept them. They turn them into strengths that no one can compete with. Let's say a Sigma struggles with being overly analytical. To most people, that might seem exhausting or even annoying, but to a Sigma, that same trait becomes their superpower in problem-solving, planning, or navigating situations others can't figure out. Where someone else sees overthinking, the Sigma sees strategic precision. This mindset leaves people stunned. While they're busy trying to appear flawless, Sigmas are out there thriving because they've already embraced what others fear. That's the thing about Sigmas. They don't just walk into a room and command attention. They make people question why they're so afraid of being real. Their transformation is magnetic. It's not about perfection, but mastery. Mastery of their own quirks, fears, and insecurities. People around them are left wondering why they've spent so much energy hiding what makes them unique. That's the Sigma effect. They force others to rethink their approach to flaws and realize that perfection is boring. If you own your flaws, you become untouchable. That's exactly what Sigmas do, and it's why they leave everyone questioning their own choices. Number 2, they're always 10 steps ahead. Sigmas have a knack for seeing the game before it even begins. While most people are busy reacting to whatever life throws at them, Sigmas are already working on their next move or 5 moves down the line. They approach life like a master chess player, not only predicting the obvious moves but anticipating the unexpected. This kind of strategic thinking is rare, and it's exactly what keeps them ahead of everyone else. It's not luck or intuition, it's preparation. Sigmas spend their time observing, analyzing, and learning. They notice patterns that others overlook, and they understand that life is less about reacting in the moment and more about setting yourself up to win before the moment even arrives. Whether it's their career, relationships, or personal growth, Sigmas always have a contingency plan, or 3. This foresight unsettles people. While most are scrambling to fix problems or adapt to sudden changes, Sigmas are calm, almost as if they saw it coming all along. And truth be told, they probably did. It's not that they're never caught off guard, but they've trained themselves to adapt so quickly and effectively that it seems like they're untouchable. This ability to stay ahead isn't about being smarter, it's about being more intentional. Sigmas think long-term while others are stuck in short-term gratification. They don't just ask, what do I want now? They ask, what will I need later? And how can I prepare for it today? That's why they always seem so composed, even in chaos. It's no surprise that people around them often feel unprepared or directionless. Sigmas make it clear, life isn't a game of chance, it's a game of strategy, and they've mastered it. Number 3, they shatter societal timeline. Sigmas have no interest in following the standard life script. the one that tells you to graduate at 22, settle down by 30, and retire at 65. For them, these arbitrary timelines are nothing more than societal constructs designed to box people in. Instead, they live life at their own pace, breaking milestones in ways that seem unconventional, even rebellious, while others rush to tick off life's checkboxes, marriage, kids, promotions. Sigmas take their time, focusing on what truly matters to them. If they feel inspired to start a business at 50, they'll do it without hesitation. If they want to backpack across South America at 40 instead of saving for a suburban home, they'll book the flight. This mindset challenges the norm, forcing everyone around them to wonder if they've been rushing through life for the wrong reasons. What's fascinating is how Sigmas' timelines often end up being more fulfilling. By rejecting societal pressure, they pursue goals that align with their passions, not external expectations. Their achievements might not look traditional, but they resonate deeply because they're rooted in authenticity. While others are stuck in midlife crises, wondering if they wasted decades chasing someone else's dream, Sigmas are thriving, having built a life they actually enjoy. This freedom unsettles people. Sigmas make you question why you've been racing against a clock you didn't even set. They prove that success isn't tied to an age or a deadline. It's tied to purpose and timing that feels right for you. By rewriting the rules, Sigmas remind us that life isn't a linear path. It's a journey, and we all have the power to design our own route. Number 4, they're comfortable with the uncomfortable. Sigmas have a unique relationship with discomfort. They don't just tolerate it, they seek it out. To them, growth isn't found in safe, familiar spaces. It's found in the messy, awkward, and sometimes painful process of challenging themselves. Whether it's starting from scratch to learn a new skill they initially suck at, stepping into roles they've never tried before, or leaving behind stability to chase something greater, Sigmas willingly put themselves in positions most people would avoid at all costs. This intentional bravery sets them apart. While others cling to comfort zones, terrified of failure or rejection, Sigmas see those zones as prisons. They understand that true confidence doesn't come from avoiding failure, it comes from facing it head-on over and over again until it loses its power. The more uncomfortable the situation, the more opportunity it holds for them to grow, adapt, and thrive. What makes this even more powerful is the ripple effect it has on others. Watching a Sigma embrace discomfort so fearlessly can be deeply unsettling. It forces people to reflect on their own avoidance behaviors, the excuses they make to stay safe, the opportunities they miss because they're afraid of what could go wrong. Sigmas act as a mirror, showing others that their fear of discomfort is what's truly holding them back. But Sigmas don't do it to prove a point. They do it because they know that the best version of themselves is forged in the fire of uncertainty. For them, comfort is the real danger, a slow, steady stagnation that dulls ambition and potential. By getting comfortable with the uncomfortable, Sigmas live lives that are dynamic, purposeful, and always evolving, leaving others wondering why they're stuck standing still. Number 5. They build empires in silence. Sigmas operate with a level of discretion that feels almost radical in today's hyper-connected, oversharing world. While others are busy announcing their goals, posting their progress, and seeking validation, Sigmas are quietly laying bricks, one by one, on projects no one even knows exist. Their motto seems to be, "Why announce the blueprint when you can just unveil the finished masterpiece?" This approach throws people off because it's so rare. The norm is to constantly update the world on every move, whether it's a new job, a workout streak, or a business idea. But Sigmas understand something most people overlook. The more you talk about your plans, the less energy you have left to actually execute them. Talking feels productive, but for Sigmas, only results count. By staying silent, Sigmas also protect their vision. Sharing your goals can invite unnecessary opinions, doubts, or even sabotage from others who don't have your best interests at heart. Sigmas aren't about to let someone else's negativity derail their momentum. Their silence isn't secrecy, it's strategy, a way to stay laser-focused and avoid the distractions that come with oversharing. When the results finally come, they speak louder than any announcement ever could. A Sigma's success seems to appear out of nowhere, catching everyone off guard and making them wonder, how did they do all of this without anyone noticing? It's a humbling moment for those who've spent more time curating their image than building something substantial. In the end, Sigmas prove that quiet work is powerful work. Their silence is a form of discipline, and their ability to build empires without an audience forces others to rethink how much value they place on external validation. It's not about being seen, it's about being unstoppable. Number 6. They redefine success on their own terms. Sigmas don't buy into society's cookie-cutter definition of success. For most people, success is measured by the usual suspects: money, status, a big house, or an impressive job title. But Sigmas see through that illusion. They know that blindly chasing those markers often leads to burnout, unhappiness, or a feeling of emptiness. Instead, they redefine success entirely, basing it on what truly fulfills them. For a Sigma, success might look like having the freedom to choose how they spend their time, the ability to pursue their passions without restriction, or the creative space to build something meaningful. To some, this might seem unconventional. Why wouldn't they care about climbing the ladder or flaunting their achievements? But Sigmas understand that pursuing what matters to you is infinitely more rewarding than conforming to someone else's idea of success. This perspective has a jarring effect on those around them. Watching a Sigma prioritize creativity over status or freedom over wealth forces others to ask uncomfortable questions. Am I chasing success because I want it, or because I've been told I should? Sigmas don't need external validation, which is why their approach feels so revolutionary. They're not trying to impress anyone, they're trying to live authentically. In a world obsessed with appearances, Sigmas quietly remind us that real success isn't one size fits all. It's deeply personal, and it's about finding what makes your life worth living, not someone else's. Their ability to define success on their own terms not only frees them, but also holds up a mirror to everyone else, exposing how many are stuck chasing things they don't even truly want. Number 7. They make solitude look powerful. Sigmas have an extraordinary relationship with solitude. Unlike most people who see being alone as something to avoid or endure, Sigmas treat it as a vital source of strength. For them, solitude is where clarity happens, where they can recharge, think deeply, and truly connect with themselves. They don't just tolerate being alone, they thrive in it. This self-sufficiency can be deeply unsettling to others. In a world where people are constantly surrounded by noise, social media, relationships, or endless to-do lists, Sigmas remind us that being alone doesn't have to mean being lonely. They've mastered the art of turning solitude into a superpower, using it as a time to grow, reflect, and build their inner world. Watching someone be so content in their own company forces others to confront an uncomfortable truth. Am I afraid to be alone because I don't know who I am without external distractions? Sigmas don't need anyone's validation or constant connection to feel complete. Their time alone is spent pursuing things that matter to them, whether it's developing a skill, planning their next move, or simply enjoying peace. This quiet confidence makes their solitude look less like isolation and more like liberation. The power in this lies in contrast. While others might use people or distractions to fill voids in their lives, Sigmas show that fulfillment doesn't come from outside, it starts within. Their ability to embrace solitude with ease makes others question their dependency on external validation, and whether their need to stay busy is actually a fear of facing themselves. Sigmas turn something as simple as being alone into a statement of independence, and that's why their solitude feels not just powerful, but almost intimidating. Number 8. They live by principles, not trends. Sigmas are the type of people who couldn't care less about the latest trend, viral challenge, or what society thinks they should be doing. Instead, they live their lives guided by a strong set of personal principles. These principles act as their internal compass, steering them in the direction of what feels authentic, meaningful, and right, no matter how unpopular or unconventional it might be. What sets Sigmas apart is their ability to filter out the noise. While most people are swept up in the latest craze or bending to societal expectations, Sigmas ask themselves one simple question: Does this align with who I am and what I value? If the answer is no, they walk away without hesitation. This refusal to conform rattles people, especially those who derive their sense of self from external approval or validation. Sigmas don't reject trends out of rebellion. They're simply not interested in doing something just because everyone else is. They understand that trends are fleeting and often meaningless in the grand scheme of things. What matters to them is living a life that reflects their core values. Whether it's their career choices, relationships, or lifestyle, everything they do is intentional and aligned with their principles. This kind of grounded decision-making makes others uncomfortable because it forces them to reflect on their own motivations. Are they pursuing something because they truly want it, or because they're afraid of being left out? Sigmas highlight the emptiness of chasing approval and the power of living a life rooted in authenticity. By staying true to their principles, Sigmas don't just live differently, they live deeply. And in doing so, they inspire others to rethink why they're so quick to follow the crowd instead of following their own path. Number 9. They're masters at disappearing and reappearing strategically. Sigmas have an almost mystical ability to disappear and reappear with purpose. Unlike most people who feel obligated to constantly stay connected or maintain routines out of fear of losing relevance, Sigmas are entirely unbothered by the idea of stepping away. When they sense that a situation, relationship, or environment is draining their energy, they don't hesitate to vanish, not as an act of rebellion, but as a calculated move to reset and recalibrate. This disappearing act often catches others off guard. One moment, a Sigma might be deeply involved in a project or social circle, and the next, they're gone without explanation. While this might confuse or even frustrate people, Sigmas are unconcerned with how others perceive their absence. To them, disappearing is necessary to recharge, reflect, and focus on their personal growth. When they return, they come back sharper, more evolved, and often armed with new ideas, skills, or insights. This ability to step away with purpose makes others question their own habits. Why do they stay in draining relationships or stick to routines that offer little in return? Sigmas remind people that sometimes the most productive thing you can do is hit pause. Their strategic reappearances, always with something to show for their time away, highlight the value of stepping back to regain clarity and direction. What truly unsettles others is the unpredictability of it all. Sigmas don't disappear for attention or drama, they do it for self-preservation and growth. And when they re-emerge, they're often miles ahead, leaving everyone else wondering how they managed to transform while the rest stayed stuck in the same cycle. It's a move that's both bold and strategic, and it reinforces the Sigma's reputation as someone who lives on their own terms, unbound by expectations. Number 10. They reject the herd mentality. Sigmas don't just follow the crowd because it's the easiest path. They actively question the rules, the norms, and the expectations society hands them. While most people follow the herd without a second thought, Sigmas take the time to analyze what they're being told, why they're being told it, and whether it actually aligns with their values. This critical thinking puts them at odds with the conventional way of doing things, but it's this very trait that sets them apart from the masses. Rather than simply accepting authority or societal structures, Sigmas are constantly challenging them. They ask questions that others are afraid to, pointing out the flaws in systems that everyone else just takes for granted. This doesn't mean they're rebels for the sake of rebellion, but that they have an innate drive to understand the why behind the rules before they follow them. If something doesn't make sense or feels limiting, they'll speak out or choose to go in a different direction. Their ability to reject the herd mentality forces others to rethink how much they've allowed society to dictate their actions, their beliefs, and their decisions. How many times have people followed the crowd because it was just the expected thing to do? Sigmas expose the trap of conformity and make people wonder whether they've been living their lives based on what they truly want or simply because that's what everyone else is doing. In a world where people often prioritize fitting in over thinking for themselves, Sigmas act as a reminder that true growth comes from questioning, challenging, and ultimately deciding what's best for you, even if it goes against the grain. Their willingness to reject the herd mentality isn't just a rebellious act. It's a form of empowerment, encouraging others to break free from the limitations they've unknowingly imposed on themselves. In a world where most people are caught up in the noise, constantly chasing trends, validation, and fleeting distractions, Sigmas stand as a powerful reminder of what it truly means to live authentically. They don't conform to societal expectations, they don't waste time on drama or gossip, and they certainly don't let the opinions of others dictate their actions. Instead, they carve their own path, one grounded in principles, self-awareness, and unwavering focus on their own growth. Their ability to live outside the box forces the rest of us to question what we're really doing with our time and energy. Sigmas don't just follow the crowd, they challenge us to ask ourselves, are we living for ourselves or simply going along with the flow? They create space for us to reflect on how much of our life is driven by external pressure and how much is fueled by our true desires. So the next time you find yourself questioning where your life is headed, take a moment to look at how Sigmas live. It's not about being perfect or always having it all figured out. It's about being true to who you are, following your own compass, and rejecting the noise that doesn't serve you. Sigmas don't need to explain their choices or justify their actions. They simply live them, and in doing so, they inspire the rest of us to do the same. If you found yourself reflecting on the power of living authentically and questioning the way you've been approaching life, then you're in the right place. Sigmas don't just inspire. They challenge us to be the best versions of ourselves. If you're ready to embrace a mindset that goes beyond the ordinary and truly start living on your terms, then make sure you're subscribed to this channel. Hit that bell so you never miss a new video that will push you to think differently, live boldly, and break free from the limitations you've accepted. Join the movement because this is just the beginning. Thanks, damsels, for tuning in. See you in the next vid. Bye and stay blessed.